This entitled single mom is homeless and turns to this nice couple for help. What was supposed to be a 1-month stay until she gets employed turns into months of pain and disaster. How will they kick this entitled mom and her brats out of their home? Happy birthday, today's your birthday, on with the revamped show. In the cast, EK entitled kid, EM entitled mother, me, group of mums of my friends who were in the park talking. This takes place in an apartment complex where we all lived in different buildings. The backstory. EK was a kid that my friend group never really played with, all the time I was there and mostly later as well. He was weird and always acted entitled, and while we accepted almost anyone who asked to play and tried to play with them, EK was outcasted in like 2 to 3 days because of how he behaved. He should be the main guy in everything we did, like he was the protagonist of a storybook, maybe even more. We played soccer and we have to pass it to him. Opponent players can't take the ball from him. Or playing tag, he was immune from being tagged, etc. He would annoy us, then cry, and then leave. This incident took place like a 1.5 years since our last attempt of playing with him. We almost forgot about him because we almost never saw him. The story. So I was living in Japan and going to move to another country after spending my entire elementary there. 5 years, studied in an international school. I was keeping my stuff and giving stuff away that I could never take back, like my cricket bat, soccer ball, baseball stuff, etc. I was playing soccer alone since my friends hadn't come yet when the EK came. He noticed I was playing but was in another area and I didn't pay any mind. About 15 minutes later, my friends came and I keep my ball in the basket in front of my bike and go over to talk to them. After 5 minutes, I check on my bike and ball. Always was cautious, I don't know why, and see EK playing with my ball. I go over and say that he should have asked permission and to give me my ball back. EK has taken my friend's soccer balls or other small things in the past, so I don't trust him. He says he wants it and I say no. It's mine, and he can join us when we start playing soccer about 15 minutes later. Me and my friends were waiting for other people in our group to come. EK then proceeds to say no, tries to kick me, push my bike, and makes it fall, and proceeds to make a run for his apartment. I, being much faster, catch him and snatch my ball back, saying, "What the heck? You gonna steal my stuff now?" He starts crying, but I don't care, and go and see EK go to his home, and I thought it's over. 10 minutes later, and I see him come with a woman, which I correctly guess as his mum. "Why didn't you give your soccer ball to my son?" He didn't ask permission, and so he needs permission now? Yes, it's my ball. Your football? So what? We have a few rules in our group, and one of them is my stuff, my rules. So, my son doesn't follow them, and give him your ball. No, I won't. Mom, it's a bazooka, I want it. Oh, well give my son that ball. No, he can join. You won't listen to an adult? What are your parents teaching you? I know you. All good grades, boy, but no discipline and morals. Let me teach you something. You listen to adults. No, it's my ball, and my parents are very good people. Your ball or someone else's. Give it to my son. No. Yes, you will. No, you are moving. So give that ball to my son this instant. I'd promised to give the bazooka to a friend of mine. No. At this point my mum's friends have noticed and have been seeing what was going on, so 2 of them come over and intervene. MF1, mum's friend 1, and MF2, mum's friend 2. What's going on? Why are you shouting? Did he do something? This little brat won't give that ball to my son. So, it's his ball. He will listen to me. She actually said that. Stop shouting. We're all talking here. And let me explain something to you. It's his ball. He does what he wants with his property. And you are just shouting like this in a park for this reason? Are you okay? Yes, go away and leave him. Go play with your friends. We'll talk to her. I went and started playing, but I could still hear EM telling how I should listen to adults and how since I am moving, her son deserves my soccer ball. Eventually she just left, but it was a weird experience. I'd never really had an experience like this before, so it always sticks in my memory. I would think that if I was in that position and I already had the soccer ball back, I would just walk away. There's nothing really that she can do to you. She's not going to physically take it. Well, we have seen EMs do that before, so I guess you can't assume that she won't. If all else fails, just run away as fast as you can. In the cast, freeloading mother, FLM, nice oldest boy, NB, 10, spoiled oldest daughter, SD, 4, rotten youngest daughter, RD, 2, nice aunt, NA, nice uncle, NU, nice aunt and uncle's only son, my cousin, C, 14. Note, I'm not really in this story, but I watched it happen. I have no idea how my aunt and uncle and cousin stayed sane after this. They were true nightmares. This happened years ago, so I don't know all the details. I might have been 9 or 10 around this time. The backstory: FLM was going through financial trouble and was kicked out of her apartment. FLM had 4 children at the time, but one she gave up for adoption, which was basically the best thing that could ever happen for that kid. The kid she gave up isn't in the story, but for anyone wondering, he's doing great. Has 2 loving parents and the proper help he needs. He has a few issues since he was born, not sure what exactly except for autism. There is no father present in this story. The NB was quite normal from what I could tell. Nothing really wrong with him. Just his crappy mother. I wish him well. He's the oldest of the 4 children. The boy who was given up for adoption was the second child. SD was the next oldest, and RD the youngest. NB was about 10 when this started. SD has all the same issues the second oldest has, so I'll give her a small pass for a bit of her behavior, and also the fact her mother is terrible. SD was around 3 or 4 when this started. I think RD was just rotten. Only excuse for her is her crappy mother. She was around 1 or 2 when this started. My aunt, cousin and uncle at the time lived in a single wide trailer. There were only 2 bedrooms. I hope you can see the problem now. My aunt and FLM were friends at the time, so my aunt let her and her spawn move in. The story: when FLM and her children moved in, they slept on the couch and floor in the living room. My aunt was under the impression they would only be there until FLM got a job, which was supposed to be less than a month. It, of course, wasn't less than a month. Around 2 months after moving in, NB's grandma tricked FLM into signing custody of NB to the grandma. FLM was under the impression NB would only be staying with his grandma in summer. But, you know, what entitled mother reads the fine print? Well, I'm happy to say NB is well off now. After 3 months, my aunt was sorry for the girls having to sleep in the floor every night, so she bought them a bunk bed. But after 3 months, FLM still has not gotten a job or paid a cent for food for her kids. To let you know how bad of a mother she is, I'll tell you about the girls. The oldest girl, as I said before, has the same issues as the second son, but I didn't tell you she still at 4 could hardly speak a word, which was nothing to do with her issues. She also wasn't potty trained or even in training. She was still in diapers like a 1-year-old. Same with the youngest, couldn't speak, wasn't potty trained, etc. My aunt also bought the girls toys and diapers. FLM wouldn't even do the dishes. Over time, between then and 6 months later, FLM got a job, but still paid nothing. My aunt was becoming the mother of these kids. She was able to potty train them both and taught them to speak in full sentences. Only problem was their mum. The mum would curse around them all the time, probably using words so bad I don't even know them. And the kids would repeat that language because their mummy said it, so why couldn't they? My aunt would discipline them, like making them eat enough food before they could eat dessert. But when she left the room, their mum would give them dessert even if they hadn't finished half of their plate. Whenever they would say a bad word, my aunt would make them wash out their mouth with soap. I don't like that method, but anyway. But when their mum was watching them, she let them curse up a storm. When they'd throw a tantrum, she'd take away a toy or TV privileges until they behaved. But when their mum came home, the TV was back on or the toy was given back. This went on for 2 years. FLM had goodness knows how many boyfriends in that time. I don't know if she drank a lot, but it wouldn't surprise me. Then my aunt and uncle found a double-wide trailer for sale. not even a mile away, in their price range. Considering FLM had been using my aunt for the past year, you can understand my aunt's patience with her and her spawn was running thin. This was the last straw. Hey FML, I wanted to talk to you about what you'll be doing when we move. You're free to move in with us, but you'll be sharing a room with your girls. I'm moving in, but I won't share a room with them. The room's too small to have them in my queen-size bed in there. Besides, I don't want to be woken up in the middle of the night anymore. They don't sleep through the night. Not sure where she was having her old queen-size bed stored, but whatever. I don't know if this is what was said, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's what happened. Where are they supposed to sleep? They don't need to sleep in the living room anymore. You had these children, you need to take care of them. Well, if you don't want them in the living room, then have them in your room. Okay, pack your stuff. You have enough money to take care of yourself and your daughters. Now go. FLM probably curses. Don't you care about me? What about my girls? Fine. And then my aunt threw them out. I have no idea what the actual conversation sounded like, but I would like to imagine that's how it went. FLM didn't like moving out, but my aunt took all of her stuff and her spawn stuff and threw it off the porch into the yard for them to get when they came back for her things. I'm so sorry this won't be a happy ending, but my aunt has taken in another freeloader since then, who has been living with her for years now. I don't know how any of them stayed sane through this, but oh well. The new freeloader may be on that last straw now. So I'll repost when she's kicked out too. Okay, so there was no husband in the situation here, so I don't know if she's getting pregnant to all these different guys, or it was just the same guy who wasn't sticking around. In any case, that's not good for anyone in this situation. Not good for her, not good for the kids. This happened a couple of years ago. My mum has never been a very good person, let alone a good mum, but this is the worst thing she has ever done. My stepmom was an amazing person, loving and caring. Her and her dad split up and I moved away for uni, but she always messaged me to tell me she missed me and loved me. She was then diagnosed with lung cancer and died a couple of months before my wedding. She always told me how excited she was to come to my wedding. I've never been so devastated in my life. I cried for weeks and traveled up to her funeral. On the day of her funeral, my mum didn't go. She didn't get along with that side of the family. I wrote a eulogy to her on Facebook to the tune of, "I will miss you and thank you for helping me the person I am today." Emphasis on the word helping. I noticed over the following 2 days, still in a full state of grief, that my mum wasn't speaking to me, and when I messaged her, she would just thumbs up back to me. I finally snapped and asked her what was wrong. She said this. Initially I thought she was annoyed because we got a cat, and she thought we got the cat to stop her bringing her dog down. This is actually copied and pasted from the conversation. "If you don't realize what you've done to me, I guess it's best I don't come to your wedding. I'm done with all 3 of you." I sent her a few messages asking what was going on and told my brothers who found out that it was because of the status. Basically, what she said to them was, "She crapped all over me and told the world that she attributes the person she is today to stepmom, and I've done nothing. Fine, I won't be part of her life anymore." Eventually, I had to call her and literally scream at her, and she eventually gave in and apologized. What I thought was a breakthrough. Next day, my mum messages me saying she's not feeling too good. She said she took too much of her medicine and she drank a lot of alcohol because she's so sad and felt like it might help. Hold back the tears. I told her to call the doctor, and I eventually had to get my uncle to go around, only to find out she was lying, and clearly just did it to try and make me feel bad for shouting at her. There are some of those people in life where unless they're the center of attention with every single thing, including social media statuses, then somehow a negation of mentioning them means you must hate them. They need continual praise, or else it must mean that you don't like them anymore, or you don't value whatever relationship you have with them. And of course, if you praise anybody else for something that maybe could be attributed to them, well, that threatens their ego, doesn't it? And out comes some extremely manipulative tactics. How on earth do they think this is going to do anything other than want people to distance themselves from them? I don't understand. Submit your story to be read on the channel at VoiceyHereStories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright, Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.